What's up, guys? Taking you through a leg workout here. Dallas is currently 11 and a half weeks out of the Chicago Pro, and we are currently training legs twice a week. So we're going to have a quad emphasis leg day and a hamstring emphasis leg day. And within those leg days, some of quads are going to be hit on hamstring day, some of hamstrings are going to be hit on quad day, and we want to keep the frequency within our training high. It's essentially been that way ever since we started working together. It works well. Progress is continuing to happen, so we want to keep that in place. Within our training as well, you're going to see that there's a lot of similarities week to week within our exercise selection, and there's a reason for that. We're trying to use training as a marker for progress or lack thereof, especially during a prep. One of the variables that I think is very important is to be able to monitor training, see how Dallas is continuing to improve in his training or lack thereof. If he starts to kind of backslide or performance starts to come to a halt or goes in reverse, then that's something that I need to monitor and make changes at that point. So until those types of things start to happen, we are going to be using the same type of exercise selection week in and week out. The order might change, but I want him getting better at movements that he's accustomed to doing. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to keep training variables consistent. So therefore, once we're in those movements, we can start to monitor his strength within those movements. Is his strength going up? Is it staying the same? His reps within those movements is at a certain weight. Is he able to get more reps? Is he getting less reps? Things like that. I think it's important to be able to monitor that during a contest prep. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. Now, within the training itself, what you're seeing here on hack squat, we essentially worked up to 2 heavy sets. The first set was just a straight set, pretty hard set. And then the second set we took into a double drop set. So we might not always hack squat first every week, but we typically are going to keep hack squats in within the training that exercise selection somewhere week to week. We're going to hack squat. After hack squats, we moved on to leg press, and you're going to see within the leg press that we used a band on the leg press. And the reason for that is with a band, you're able to actually work with or against the strength curve. We were working against the strength curve by placing the band at the bottom. So as Dallas pushed the weight up, the further he pushed the weight away from his body, the harder that band tension got. So at the top of the movement, whereas with a leg press, the further away you push it from your body without a band, it's typically, generally speaking, on most leg presses, it's going to feel lighter at the top. At the top is where most people rest, kind of gather their breath in between reps, or after a certain number of reps, they're going to gather their breath and then do some more. Well, with bands added, when you rest at the top, which you're going to see Dallas do here in a second, the tension is actually at the peak point at that top resting position. So it's harder to rest at the top position because that is where the weight is the strongest on the sled. So it's just another variable, something that we like to put into our training. I think bands are great. Do I think you need to use them on every single exercise? No. Do they have their place within programming and within a training day? Absolutely. So we'll use them specifically on movements where it's going to really force you to really drive through the contraction, force a peak contraction, and actually make that peak contraction stronger in a safer manner at the top of the movement. So that's what we did with the bands. And then something else that you're going to see that's pretty cool that might not be seen very often is we're using a belt squat. I was able to go to Westside and learn some things from Louie, and he talked to me about the belt squat and all the different ways that they use the belt squat. And what we're doing here is we're keeping a quad emphasis type movement for belt squats. The purpose of a belt squat is it actually doesn't load your spine, so all the weight is on your hips. And at the bottom of the rep, that is where the most amount of tension is on the quad. As you come up, it really allows you to engage and drive, use some hip drive, which we're trying to keep out, and that's why he's doing more bottom half movement to really keep the tension on the quads. And then from there, he's going into a leg extension. It's just the last superset of the day. So within us training more frequently, we have to control our volume. Our volume isn't crazy high within a training session itself, but volume towards the end of the week acclimates in it, and it gets pretty high considering that we're training everything twice a week. So you guys continue to follow along. We're going to be continuing to film all throughout prep, giving you all sorts of updates, mainly training based, and then some other things as well. So just continue to follow along, and we look forward to bringing content to you guys throughout the prep.